Welcome to Insta Owl's classes. We at Insta Owl believe in democratizing education for one and for all. Let's continue studying the rise of nationalism in Europe. Let's see the age of revolutions. From 1830 to 1848, it was divided into an era of revolutions happening across Europe. There is an important revolution known as the July Revolution, and we will see what to learn in it. We have seen liberalism as an ideal. We have also seen nationalism as an ideal. Associated with revolutions in Europe, including Italian and German states, the Ottoman Empire, Ireland, and Poland. Led by educated middle-class elite professors, school teachers, clerks, and commercial classes. Commercial means trade classes, businessmen. July Revolution in France in 1830. Now, what happens in this revolution is that, as you have seen, that the Bourbon dynasty, like we told you, was the dynasty before Napoleon. They overthrew the Bourbon. Who was they that we are talking about? We are talking about the revolutionaries. The revolutionaries who are now liberals, who are the middle class, who are philosophers and thinkers, who want to get democracy and advocate democracy. They overthrew the Bourbon dynasty. Now, the Bourbon dynasty, please remember, was restored in the Congress of Vienna in 1815. But after 1830, after 15 years of oppression, we are seeing that the French people wanted to overthrow the Bourbon dynasty and establish a constitutional monarchy. Means there will be a constitution, there will be a parliament, and there will also be a king who will work on the advice of the parliament. Let's see. They overthrew the Bourbon monarchy, establishing a constitutional monarchy under Louis Philippe. Inspired revolutions across Europe. This revolution in July in France in 1830 inspired other revolutions, like in Europe, including Belgium's break from the part of Netherlands. The Greek War of Independence. Greece's struggle against the Ottoman rule. Ottoman rules means a Muslim empire that ruled over Central Europe. The Ottoman rule began in 1821, supported by exiled Greeks and West European sympathizers. So now Greece was overruled by the Ottoman Empire, and the Ottoman Empire, there were a lot of Greeks who did not want to be in that empire. That is the reason the exiled Greeks means Greeks who were living into the western parts of Europe, started supporting the Greeks living in Central Europe. And then they actually got independence by this treaty, the Treaty of Constantinople, 1832. There were wars fought, there were almost 7 wars fought, and later Greece got independence by signing the Treaty of Constantinople. English poet Lord Byron supported the cause and died in war. Now, Lord Byron also supported the cause. He wrote a lot about the independence of Greece, and he went to war to fight it, but he died due to fever. Romanticism and the culture of nationalism. We are going to see in history what is the meaning of Romanticism and what is the significance of this term. Cultural influence on nationalism. Now, nationalism was shaped not just by war and expansion, means not by just geography, but also by culture. But also by culture with art. Now, what is art? What is culture? Culture means deep-rooted forms of traditions, deep-rooted forms of tradition over space and time. Over space and time through generations, that's happening. So, that is art. Your art form can have a culture which you're related. You're from the same culture, means same kind of art forms, same kind of singing, same kind of dancing. Poetry, when it comes to poetry, folk stories, ancient stories, like that. And the music playing key roles. So now please understand, nationalism just does not mean taking the people of the same language, same religion, same culture and putting them in one geographical boundary. It also meant inculcating values of culture in the people, like art, singing, dancing and poetry. That is the meaning of Romanticism, means spreading nationalism through culture. Romanticism and national sentiment. Romanticism emphasized firstly emotions, intuition and mystical feelings over reason and science, fostering a shared cultural heritage as the foundation of a nation. Yes. Let's see. Johann Gottfried Herder, 1744-1803, and his folk culture. Now, he was a German philosopher and he believed true culture was found among common people. Das Volk means, this actually means, das Volk means the people. Folk songs, poetry and dances were seen as expressions of the nation spirit, that is Volksgeist, essential for nation building. So remember that there are two parts. Geography is one binding part for a nation and second is culture. You have to be bounded by culture to be part of a nation. Emphasis on local folklore and vernacular language aimed to revive national spirit and spread nationalistic ideas, especially to the illiterate people. So please remember that every nation has some kind of rural area where there's illiteracy. They're not that educated. So what is the culture that connects to them? It is the songs, the dance, the poetry and the stories to make them feel as part of the nation. Polish nationalism and resistance, 1831. National feelings in Poland persisted through music and language. Kopinski used operas and folk dances as nationalist symbols. Polish language became a tool of resistance against Russian rule. So now please understand that Polish nationalism was there because Poland was a part of Russia. And what Russia did is they stopped the Polish people from speaking Polish language. They imposed the Russian language, that is also called the Ruski, on these people, which angered these people. That is why they started using operas. Operas means singing, and folk dances as a nationalistic symbol against the resistance of Russians. Yes. Let's see the Instabites. We have a story over here. The story of the Grimm brothers. Who are they? Jacob and William Grimm, born in Hanau, turned from law to collecting folktales. Folktale collection, they gathered and published Grimm's fairy tales in 1812, popular of all ages. This is a very, very popular fairy tale story which the brothers wrote. This is an adventure story written by the brothers. This is also called as the Grimm Brothers Adventures. Let's see the political involvement. The Grimms were active in liberal politics and published a 33-volume German dictionary. Nation building, they saw their work as preserving German culture and resisting the French domination. Let's see the revolts and the hardships in Europe. Economic hardship in the 1830s. Now please understand, we are learning the revolts and the revolutions from the ages of 1830 to 1848. Almost a span of 18 years. But there is always, I have told you, that there is a revolution or a revolt only when there is injustice or when there is hardship. Now we are going to see what were the hardships from 1830 which led to these revolutionaries. Economic hardships in the 1830s. Economic hardship led to widespread unemployment in Europe. Rural migrants crowded city slums, facing competition from cheap goods. Small producers, especially in textiles, struggled with slow industrialization. So these were economic hardship. Firstly, there was unemployment. Secondly, the migrants crowded city and made them into slums, facing competition from cheap goods. Why? There was a lot of cheap goods and that was also not available. Small producers, especially in textiles, struggled with slow industrialization because there was other industrialization take place which was happening in the factories and the industries. So it was the smaller producers who actually faced a lot of loss. Seeing all these economic hardships, the people were very angry. And who are these people we're talking about? It is always the lower estates or the peasantry who is unhappy. The peasant struggles. Peasants under powerful aristocracy faced heavy feudal dues. Feudal dues, feudal system where they had to pay to the nobles. Bad harvests and rising food prices caused widespread poverty in the peasants. 1848 revolutions. In 1848, food shortage and unemployment sparked revolts in Paris. They were very angry because of the no availability of food, no availability of jobs. That is why they say that republic was declared. They made Louis Philippe flee, and then they established a parliament in France. Let's see the Silesian weavers revolt in 1845. Silesian weavers revolted over wage cuts, leading to riots and property destruction. The contractor fled, returned with the army, and 11 weavers were shot in the clash. Okay, this is a story of Silesian weavers. Now what happened over here is that the weavers, they were people who would weave textile, weave cloth, and they would give it to the contractor, and the contractor would sell it in the markets. But they realized that the contractor, that is the middleman, was taking it for very cheap prices and selling it for very expensive prices, and they were giving nothing to the people, nothing to the weavers, nothing to the people of the village. And that is why they revolted against the contractor. When they reached his house, When they reached his house, the contractor did not listen to them, did not listen about increasing their wages or giving them money. In fact, he shouted at them. He shouted at them and they revolted. They entered his house. They broke his furniture. They broke his house. They broke his windows. And the contractor had to flee, that run with his family overnight. He went to another village, the same village where there were Silesian weavers, but he was not accepted in the village. Why? Because the villagers were together in this revolt. And then the contractor went away, got an army and came back to attack these weavers. And because of the weapons, he could suppress this revolt. And he killed more than 11 weavers in that clash. The 1848 revolutions and the liberals. Let's see the parallel revolts. Now, what is happening in Europe? You're understanding the nationalism that is taking over these ages in Europe. But there are parallel revolutions that are happening. Let's see. The middle class liberals led revolutions alongside the workers and the peasant uprisings. So the classes that were revolting were the middle class educated professionals and the peasantry. The France established a republic with universal male suffrage. They did not give adult suffrage. They did not give women any voting rights. What were the demands? Liberals in Germany, Italy, Poland and Austrian-Hungarian Empire sought constitutional nation states. They all were empires under monarchs and now they wanted a constitutional national state. Let's see the Frankfurt Parliament. Frankfurt was under Prussia. You can say King Friedrich Wilhelm is the king of Prussia. Germany was not united. It was not united because it was still a part of the empire in Europe, the Habsburg, but the German regions were under Prussia, were under Austria. So the people of Germany, actually the German liberals, that is the educated professional thinkers, wanted to unite the Germans all over Europe. So what did they do? They drafted a constitution and marched up to the King Friedrich Wilhelm IV and said that you can accept this constitution along with your crown, that is the constitutional monarchy. But the king did not like it. He did not agree to it. And that is why he went on to join the other monarchs to revolt and to suppress the revolt of the Germans. This is called Frankfurt Parliament because the parliament or the place is in Frankfurt. Women participated actively but were denied voting rights and could only observe in Frankfurt. So the German liberals wanted a parliament. So where did they assemble? They went to the Church of St. Paul, and over there women were not made a part of any kind of representative. They were made to only watch from the gallery. Post 1848 reforms, the monarchs, fearing further unrest, began reforms, including abolishing serfdom and increasing autonomy in Hungary. Yes. Please look at the screen. This is an illustration of the Frankfurt Parliament in the Church of St. Paul. Let's see Instabites. Debate on women's liberty and equality. Welker's view. Men and women have different roles. Equality would harm family harmony. So when we ask, about equality, there are some philosophers who really think that women do not get equal rights because that would harm their relationship or their harmony in the society. Men and women have different roles and equality would harm family harmony. Otto Peters' response, liberty must include all and not just men. This was a response given to Welker. Reader's critique, it's unjust to deny voting rights to women despite their contributions and property ownership. Let's see the unification of Germany by Prussia. Post-1848 nationalism, they shifted from democratic ideals to state power under conservative leadership. The failed 1848 unification, the middle-class Germans. Why? Because the king suppressed the revolt of 1848. The failed 1848 unification, middle-class Germany's attempt to unify under a parliament was crushed by the monarchy and the military. Bismarck's leadership. Now, Bismarck is the chief minister and also the leader who gets Germany unified in 71. Otto von Bismarck led Prussia in unifying Germany through 3 wars with Austria, Denmark and France. Let's see the German Empire. In 1871, William I declared German emperor at Versailles, marking the unification of the German Empire under the leadership of Bismarck. Bismarck was a military general. He was also the chief minister, who was later proclaimed the chief minister. He united the German Empire by 3 wars with Austria, Denmark and France. The Prussian influence, because William I was the Emperor of Prussia. Prussian systems of currency, banking and law became the model for unified Germany. So what did they work on? They worked on the systems of currency, systems of banking and of law. That is how the model unification or the unification of Germany happened on these three circumstances. Please look at the screen. Unification of Germany, you can see from here that this is Prussia. This was the German Empire. From here you can also see that the Austrian Empire was also taken part, and some parts of Hungary were also a part of the unification of German Empire under William I. Please look at the screen. This is an illustration of proclamation of the German Empire in the Hall of Mirrors. This is Hall of Mirrors at Versailles. And this painting has been made by Anton von Werner. You can see Bismarck in the center along with the Chief Minister and William I. This was actually a painting which was gifted to Bismarck on his 70th birthday. Let's see the unification of Italy, another empire, another country we are going to see, which got unified because of the rise of nationalism in Europe. Now, fragmented Italy. Italy was fragmented into many parts, many people, many cultures across Europe. In the mid-19th century, Italy was divided into 7 states, each under different rulers, including Austrian Habsburgs, the Pope, that is a church, and the Bourbon dynasty or the Bourbon kings of Spain. The Italian language had many regional variations and it had no common form. Then comes the entry of Giuseppe Mazzini. Mazzini in the 1830s advocated for a united Italian republic and founded secret societies like Young Italy. The revolutionary uprisings in 1831 and 1848 failed, shifting the unification efforts to only one part, that is Sardinia, Piedmont. Now this was an area, a majority of area of Italians, and these were the ones that led to the unification of Greater Italy. Let's see Sardinia, Piedmont's leadership. King Victor Emmanuel II of Sardinia led the unification through war, seeing it as a path to economic development and political dominance. We can see over here that he was the king who actually wanted to unify Italy because of economic reasons. The Chief Minister Cavour, not a revolutionary or a democratic, used diplomatic alliances, notably with France, to defeat Austrian forces in 1859 so that Italy could come together. Now we see Giuseppe Garibaldi. Garibaldi led armed volunteers to southern Italy, gaining peasant support to overthrow Spanish rule. So now over here you can see that over here there was a war fought with Austria. Over here this was people reference, means what? Garibaldi went there to the southern part of Italy and he asked for the support of the peasants. He asked for the support of the people so that they could support his rule in overthrowing the Spanish. In 1861, Victor Emmanuel II was declared king of a united Italy. Let's see limited awareness. Despite unification, most Italians, particularly the illiterate peasantry, did not know what was happening. They thought they were a part of Italy, but they did not understand that Italian was diversified. They were unaware of the liberal nationalist movement, with some believing that Italia was actually the king's wife, that is La Italia. But Italia was the language of the state. Please look at the screen. This is an image of Italian states before the unification in 1858. You can see that Italy is divided. The states of Sicily, papal states when it comes to the Pope, and then you can see the northern part of Italy. Yes, this is the image of Italy after the unification. You can see that most of the parts of Italy have been unified under King Emmanuel. Let's revise what we've studied. Romanticism and culture in nationalism. Please understand, Romanticism in history means to advocate the feelings or advocate the unity between people, not just by geography, but also by culture. That is by art, by poetry, by stories, by folk dances. We have seen the unification of Germany by Prussia. You can see how Germany was unified under the king of Prussia. We have also seen the unification of Italy. Italy has been unified from the south to the north by the people and under the leadership of Garibaldi. I hope, students, you are enjoying studying the rise of nationalism in Europe with me. Please stay tuned to INSAO's next video on the same chapter. Thank you.